I'm Kira Morgan. Thanks for joining me for election information. And today I am with Ty Holbrook, and he is running for county commissioner. Hi.
Hey, good
I'd say
evening.
hi, Ty, but
That's all right. It's all right. I get confused because I'll do something in an email and then someone will reply TY, and I'm like, what? And
what?
it happens.
So, Ty, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, I'm Ty. I'm currently a social worker. I work for the county. I've been doing that for about 5 months with the crisis team. Prior to that, I spent about 5.5 years, give or take, working for the state as a social worker right here in Lincoln County. I worked for the state, but my area was Lincoln County. And I was specifically with child welfare as a child protective services worker. So got to meet a lot of people that way and really got to really connect with some of our great, people that we have around here in the community to figure out how to solve some problems. And, there's been a lot of growth over the last 6 months as far as options, which is great to see here in a small town. But, there's always a little bit room for some more, as we all know.
What got you interested in becoming a county commissioner?
So for years, with just as working as a social worker, I've been talking with people and just kind of, it's natural for people to be upset, and whether it's somebody they've met or haven't met, and just feel like, our boss isn't doing their job, and that's, or the people in charge, and that's natural. But there was a few people who, or not a few people, there was quite a few people who kept indicating that there was some problems with the commissioner's office, and they would share some of the roadblocks that they hit. One thing that a lot of people, across the community are aware of was there is an issue, we'll call it butting heads between the commissioners and the DA's office. Um, I've known a lot of the people in the DA's office for years and worked with them. I literally have a subpoena sitting on my desk at work at the county from one of them, because just so much that we would do together, between me and law enforcement and me with the DA's office. But with that said, I'm not saying that anybody's perfect, because nobody is, myself included. But I think that two groups of people, or two people having, butting heads, shouldn't cause the county or our community to suffer. And I really feel like that was kind of a big factor, with the issues between the commissioner's office and the DA's office. I think it was stuff that really could have been settled with the conversation. I try to practice humility. I try to be humble. Even here, I went to the wrong city. So, I'll admit that, again, I'm not perfect. We can get misunderstandings, but it's, I can admit when I'm wrong. I think that's a good factor to have with somebody in that position. But I think also just being able to sit down and talk. I've been through this process. I've been talking with people across the county, trying to gather their ideas about things that are areas for improvement, and then also what thoughts they have on how to, address those or other things that people have brought to me. Because I really think it's a collective knowledge. We have a lot of people here. We have a lot of knowledge. Some of it's multi-generational, but I really, I'm just trying to take advantage of, people's uh, information that they already have. Because I don't know everything. I don't think everybody does, but I think it's a lot more about trying to, put together our collective knowledge to address some of the issues, because there's issues I've learned about throughout this process that I had no clue were even an issue, and I think most people don't. But it's stuff that does affect all of us.
And what background and experience do you feel will help you to in the commissioner's office?
So I think so like I said, like I've been a social worker for the last 6 years in two different capacities. That I think would be a great asset for me, as far as for skills, just for getting to know people and understanding what what resources fit what population, because certain resources are only good for targeted populations. My sister's place is great for a very different population than the people who would be working with Nate's place or the board that just opened. So I think one, having that understanding of the who's good at what and taking advantage of that, and that's stuff that I've learned as a social worker. But prior to that, I've also worked in a hospital. Primarily, it was Emmanuel in Portland, but I worked for Legacy, so I bounced around all the hospitals there. And so I was with a lot of people who were having some very intense but also sad moments, which really helped. I wasn't a social worker there; I was paid to be security, but that really helped me to hone my skills with building a rapport with people, whether they were just having an awful day, because let's face it, that's normally why you're at the hospital, or if it's a family member, or maybe they party too hard. Prior to that, another thing that I think would also be a great skill that I'd be bringing forward and tapping into was my time in the military. So with that, it forced public speaking, public training. So that definitely applies here. We would constantly do trainings to train each other, to cross train, and it would be like, hey, we have a little bit of downtime. You train this group of people on how to do whatever the procedure was. So I do have that experience. And then, obviously there were some public speaking classes that I had to do when I was going through college, which is, fun experience of watching myself on tape. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking about every time I was saying, So, again, I have some humility. I'm aware of it. And I think that that's a big asset, is just being able to laugh at myself. None of us are perfect. I think that having some lived experience with, understanding either struggles, because, going through war is not an easy thing, but then also understanding, um, sometimes family situations are rough. But how do we, rise above that? How do we grow from that experience and learn? Again, that's just going back to learning from each other. And that's really the path that I want to take going forward. I don't believe in a leadership style where you're asking someone to do something you're not willing to do. That's kind of a personal value of mine. So with that said, it's just, with somebody in the role of commissioner, it's hard. There's a lot of hard jobs that we have here in this county, and some of it is stuff that is not thought about, or small details that aren't thought about. And then some of it is stuff that, you think about it, but, it's not as intense as it is. That I have, had the pleasure of working with, like I said, the DA's office, police, law enforcement, and the fire department on a few different things. And I've been able to learn some things from their end of the world, or, their spectrum. But also understanding the struggles that families face with just trying to get someone connected to DD services, with all of their medical paperwork, all of their everything, and shows that they're, on the spectrum, and it's just a fight, So
you have quite a bit of competition.
I do.
Why should voters choose you?
Well, again, so I'll say this with humility. Elections are rough. I think we can all agree that the ads that we get in the mail, on the the internet, everywhere we go. I will not do mail ads. I'm not going to do those mass robo phone calls. Those are weird to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So if we could just all agree to vote for me, we can end this and we won't have to stretch it out to November. So I think it's just a great plan if we just simplify it. But seriously, I think it goes back to there's, I live here. I'm not going anywhere. Obviously, all the candidates live here. That's why we're eligible to run. But my wife and I aren't going anywhere. We know the struggle of housing here. Never want to go through trying to build or do anything again. That was a 5-year process, and COVID was not a helper on that. But we love it here. This is where we are going to be. My wife works at the hospital here in Newport. She loves her job, has a great, very supportive management team. So we can't imagine being anywhere else. So it's not a stepping stone. I have no desire to use this position as a stepping stone to any other political, like senator, governor, any of that. One, I don't want to get into the Democrat versus Republican, because for me that really that's taking focus away from serving the people. And also, I don't really like flying, and I don't want to go back and forth to DC. That seems, I zero desires for that. And that gets into more in the politics and less in the just helping the community. And I truly do just enjoy helping my community. This is where I live. This is where I work. It's what I do. The reason why I would say, and again, I'm trying to not, I don't want to push any negativity out in the world, because nobody wants to see those negative ads or attack ads. It's just sad and annoying for the reader and the people who are having to read it and have that put out about themselves. Not that people aren't welcome to Google me or whatever you like, or, ask people who've met me. But there is, I've learned about some areas of improvement and some things that the current commissioner has done that I really disagree with. And I think it's, not necessarily time for a change, but because if somebody's doing something great, that's great. Let's have them stay there. But I think that the current commissioner is not doing the best job that she could.
And is there anything else that you would like to add, or any information that you want to give to voters if they want to contact you?
Yeah, sure. So as part of this process, I've had to join social media. So now you can find me on Facebook. My wife finds it as funny as she does, because I'm 37 and I've never had MySpace, Facebook, any of that. So
all the young people are going, MySpace, what's that?
Exactly. Yeah, right. MySpace is from back when the internet came on a disc in the mail. So
you've got mail.
Yeah,
yes.
yes. That was a thing. But so yeah, you can find me on Facebook. You can also email me at ty@ty4lincoln.com, and 4 is spelled out because I know too many people who are teachers that would chastise me if I put the number 4. So,
so is it FOR or FOUR or
FOR? No. I'm sure any misspellings I will hear about, any snafus. So people can find me on Facebook. They can email me. I'm working on a website. Again, that's just Ty for Lincoln. Hopefully that'll be up by the time this gets published. If not, again, you can reach out to me on Facebook, and it's open, so anyone can do that, message me or email me, whatever.
Wonderful. Well, Ty, it was very nice to meet you, and best of luck in the upcoming election.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
I'm Kira Morgan. Thanks for joining me on Election Information.